Welcome to the Tennessee Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for more. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within a few days at strivescan.com/Tennessee. And now I'd like to turn it over to our first presenter from Goldsmith University of London. Take it away.
Hey everyone, my name is Will. I'm the International Officer at Goldsmiths University of London, and I am personally based in Brooklyn, New York, but obviously, given our title, we are located in London. And our university was founded in 1891. We are a top-tier public research university and a constituent college of the University of London. We have around 10,000 students on our campus, so an extremely diverse student body. Over a third of our students are from outside of the UK. More than half are students of color. We have a very sizable LGBTQ+ and first-generation population on campus as well. We also have 55 research centers and units on our campus, both run by Goldsmiths and in conjunction with University of London. We've also implemented a Green New Deal and have banned beef on our campus, single-use plastics, divested our endowment from fossil fuels, and we will have a 90% carbon neutral campus by 2025. So we are located about 10 minutes southeast of the city center of London, where our neighborhood is extremely diverse and there's tons to do in Southeast London. We have music venues, art galleries, we have a movie theater on campus. There's residence halls located both on and just off our single site campus. All of your undergraduate courses will be housed inside that yellow dotted line there. You'll notice our college green, which is a great place to grab lunch on some sunnier days in London. It's not always super rainy. And yeah, the train will take you right into the city center in 10 minutes, which is great access for work placements and internships. Our academics focus mostly on the fine and performing arts, humanities, social sciences, business and management, education, law, social work, among other things. We are ranked in the top 100 schools in the world for the fine and performing arts and humanities, and 8 of our 18 departments are among the world's top 50. We're very well known for media communications, which includes our Screen School for Film and Television, and also our School for Journalism. And art and design is also an extremely popular program for American students, as well as computer science, psychology, theater, and music. And here is a non-exhaustive listing of our undergraduate programs. We have around 75 degrees on offer at Goldsmiths. There are 3-year degree programs, so it's a year shorter than a bachelor's degree in the US. And they're also direct entry. So if you are interested in studying economics, for instance, you apply directly to our economics degree. And that's how each program operates. So we are test optional for this year and next year, but we do require a 3.0 unweighted GPA to apply. Applications open in September each year and close on the 15th of January. You apply through UCAS, which is the University and College Application Service. This is similar to the Common App in the UK, and it's an aggregate application that allows you to apply to up to 5 universities. Some programs obviously will require a portfolio if they're more creative, and most also require an interview. Regarding cost, tuition typically ranges from around $20,000 to $26,000 US per year, depending on the program you've chosen. We do provide international scholarships that you can apply for, and we do accept federal loans, PLUS loans, and Veterans Affairs funding, as well as 529 plans. We typically estimate the cost of living in London to be around $12,000 US per year. So the total cost of attendance typically ends up at around $36,000 US per year, which is much cheaper than out-of-state public or private universities here in the US. Accommodation is located both on and just off campus, and we do have mixed gender halls that are suite style living. We do guarantee accommodation for all international students in the first year. And after that, students typically move off campus into private housing or flats. We give a shared kitchen and living space for each suite, and students will have their own room with their own bathroom. And this will kind of give you an idea of what those rooms look like. You'll also have support from our career service for up to 3 years after graduation. We provide internships and work placements that are often built into our programs. So you'll by and large leave with at least a 3-month internship on your CV. We also have a business incubator opening on campus this spring, and around 14% of our students start their own business within a year of graduation. So we have a very high entrepreneurial rate. And lastly, you'll be able to take advantage of the many clubs and societies that we have on campus. There's over 120 to choose from, everything from our K-pop society to our chocolate appreciation society, and some more traditional ones that are artistic or faith-based, multicultural, and academic. We also have over 20 sports options on campus, and Goldsmiths competes competitively in the London University Sports League. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about studying in London. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from Duke Kunshan University.
Hi, and welcome to the presentation for Duke Kunshan University, which is Duke University's new joint venture university in China. I'm Lindsay, presenting for Emily today. And essentially what we offer at Duke Kunshan University is like a Duke Education 2.0, taught in English in China to top international students from all around the world. We are a joint venture university between 3 partners. The first is Duke University in the US, which is typically ranked in the US top 10, worldwide top 20 most years. Our second university partner is Wuhan University, which is one of China's top 10. And our students study on both campuses in China and in the US and earn 2 degrees. This is the city of Kunshan. It's one of the greenest and wealthiest cities per capita in all of China, and it's an emerging technology and innovation hub, much like early Silicon Valley, and this is where our campus is located. It's about 21 minutes from there on the high-speed train to Shanghai, which of course is one of the biggest and most international hubs in all of China and all of Asia. We're also located conveniently close to several of China's historic water towns like this one. So in stark contrast to the big cities with all those great modern amenities, our students also have places like this to go to where they can experience more of the flavor of historic and traditional China. As I mentioned earlier, they do also have the option to study at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. This would typically be done during either a fall or a spring semester of the junior year, with the option to add on a consecutive summer term. While at Duke, our students take from the full menu of Duke courses, participate in clubs and activities, live on campus, and pretty much have the classic Duke experience. And they do graduate with those 2 degrees, a Chinese degree conveyed by Duke Kunshan and a US bachelor's degree conveyed by Duke. We are an American-style, research-oriented liberal arts and sciences university that is taking an innovative, practical, and global approach to higher education. Our student body is approximately 60% Chinese and about 40% international, with about 20% coming from the US. When we're at full capacity, we'll be about 2,000 undergraduates, and we already represent over 50 different countries and nationalities. Even though we're so new, we actually only have a freshman, sophomore, and junior class. Our first seniors will graduate next year. This is a quick look at our majors. They are all interdisciplinary dual majors that are pre-packaged together, much like a double major you would find somewhere else. Many of these are fabulous preparations for international diplomacy, international business, public policy and economics, and the STEM fields. We run on 7-week mini-mesters where our students take 2 classes at a time and get to deep dive. And we also reserve every Friday for experiential learning outside the classroom, like clubs, activities, field trips to explore China, and so on. We have the best dorms I've ever seen anywhere, and they're all brand new, which is wonderful. The cost of attendance is tied to Duke University, so it is equivalent to what you might expect for US private institution. But the cost of living here is about $10,000 lower than what the College Board recommends you budget if you were a college student in the US. Additionally, over 80% of our US and international students receive reduced tuition through scholarships and financial aid, which can be up to 100% tuition coverage. If you apply and you get in a normal travel year, we will actually fly you to China in late April to stay on campus for about 4 days, meet your future classmates, take sample classes, and just see if this feels like a good fit for you before it's time to decide whether or not to commit. We are currently operating safely face-to-face and coordinating the return of our overseas students, faculty, and staff. So thank you so much for your attention. Here are a few places you can go to follow us on social media. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from University College Dublin.
One moment, just sharing my screen here. All right, great. Well, thank you so much for coming and listening to us tonight. My name is Bridie Troy, and I'm here to talk about University College Dublin, also called UCD for short. So UCD is Ireland's largest and most international university. We are home to over 18,000 undergraduate students, 25% of whom hail from outside of Ireland, just like all of you. UCD is ranked #1 in Ireland by the US News and World Report, and we are in the top 1% of higher education institutions worldwide. So you can be sure that when you get your degree with UCD, it is internationally ranked, internationally accredited, and you will be able to bring that degree with you no matter where in the world you decide to end up working. So first off, I would really like to talk about the Emerald Isle, what it's like to live, study, and travel in Ireland. So just my opinion, Ireland is just the best country in which to attend college. There's always something going on. Ireland is the only English-speaking member of the European Union, and this offers a really great gateway to the rest of Europe for American students, where you can learn in your own language. There's no barrier there, but you're still experiencing a whole new culture. Ireland is routinely voted one of the safest, one of the happiest, and one of the friendliest countries in the world. The scenery is just absolutely breathtaking, and the entire country is about the size of Illinois, so it makes it incredibly easy to travel around Ireland. UCD itself is located in the heart of Ireland's capital city, and Dublin has one of the youngest populations in Europe. So this also makes it an amazing city in which to attend college, with really something always going on. There's always a million students your age walking around, going to pubs, taking in the sights, and really just exploring everything that Dublin has to offer. Additionally, Dublin is considered the Silicon Valley of Europe, and we host many of the European headquarters for some of America's largest industries. UCD's main campus offers state-of-the-art learning and living facilities right near this bustling city center and Ireland's major business hubs. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. We're a very large community campus. We are a modern campus, but built on tradition. And what I mean by this is that our buildings, our research institutions, and all of our resources are constantly updated to offer you the best possible learning environment. At the same time, however, UCD has a really unique and impactful history, wherein the college played a huge role in the establishment of Ireland as an independent nation, and we have educated over half of Ireland's prime ministers. So the school has a great reputation that even our graduates go on to lead the entire country. We are Ireland's most international university, and this really helps because UCD fosters a great international student support system. We have a global lounge, guaranteed on-campus accommodation, and over 160 clubs and societies. And this really all comes together to help you feel at home, even when you're across the ocean. So just a little bit more about our campus. We are very similar to a traditional US college campus with all the amenities that we offer. UC is actually Europe's largest urban campus. So as I said, we have that really tight-knit community feel, but we're in a multinational city 45 minutes away from an international airport. On campus, UCD offers academic supports, including libraries throughout campus dedicated to different academic disciplines. We have student advisors, math and writing centers. Additionally, we offer a lot of personal support in the way of peer mentorship, student health and counseling services, and a wellness text line. We do offer guaranteed on-campus housing for incoming international students. So right now we have rooms for over 3,000 students on campus. By next fall, we will have added another 1,000 rooms. And each of these are in an apartment style setup with your own private bedroom and a shared kitchen and bathroom with maybe 4 or 5 other students. Many of these buildings have gyms in them. They all have laundries, and there's food stores right on campus. So you still feel like you're in your own little community there. We do offer 70 undergraduate courses, and this includes a liberal arts and sciences pathway and professional programs in law, medicine, and veterinary medicine. So there are 2 pathways to a degree at UCD. There's direct entry and liberal arts and sciences. So many of our programs are direct entry, and this would be a 3-year bachelor's degree or a 4-year combined master's degree. And this means that you can start studying your degree right away without having to take any general education requirements, often saving you a lot of time and a lot of money. However, if you're a bit like I was at 18 and you're a little bit more undecided, not ready to start that major right away, we do offer a standard liberal arts and science degree that mirrors this American 4-year timeline. We have an extensive alumni network with a hands-on career center, making UCD the #1 college for employability in Ireland. So applying to UCD is fairly simple. We have very transparent entry requirements on our website. So you can log on to ucd.ie/global to see the exact requirements for your chosen major. We do have some test flexible options this year. So if you're not able to get the ACT or your AP tests in, that's okay. We have a different pathway for you. You can apply directly at ucd.ie or we are in the Common application. One thing to note is that when applying to UCD, you will be applying to a specific major. And so in this way, we differ from American institutions. But you can apply for 4 different majors at once, so that's okay. Applications are now open and rolling into the summer. So definitely get your application in soon. One last thing is I often hear many people worrying about the price tag of studying abroad, and honestly, it is very price comparable to a US university. So over 80% of our international students do receive a scholarship from UCD. Additionally, we are in the FAFSA. We accept federal loans, private loans, and the GI Bill. So if you'd like to learn more, please reach out to me or visit our website. But thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from the University of Glasgow.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Thanks so much for giving up a little bit of your time this evening. My name is Jason Vine, the Senior International Officer with the University of Glasgow, and I'm based in Washington, D.C., so a little bit of a local contact. You don't need to go to Scotland in order to get all your questions answered. So let's pop on over to Scotland. So welcome to Glasgow. This image that you see on your screen was taken atop the bell tower on campus. So Glasgow actually means dear green place in Scots Gaelic. So even though Glasgow is the largest city in Scotland, if you need to take a break from the hustle and bustle of city life and go hug a tree, you've got plenty of opportunities in the city. But then if you look at the background on the horizon, you see the start of the Scottish lowlands, and just a little bit further, the Highlands start. So about a half-hour drive, you can kind of really live your Outlander fantasy and really take a break. A couple of quick facts about the University of Glasgow. We were founded in 1451, which makes us one of the 4 Scottish ancient universities. To complement that ancient teaching legacy that you'd be a part of, we are currently ranked 67th in the world and 14th in the UK. We have 29,000 students, so quite a large university from over 140 different countries, and we have across all levels of study about 1,100 US students on campus at any given time. We are also a member of the prestigious Russell Group, which is a group of 26 research-intensive UK universities. So your assessment on your program will be research-based instead of assessment-based. So you won't have a Scantron test. There's no midterms that you'll have to worry about. It'll be project-based. And then the US model was loosely based on the Scottish. So we have a 4-year degree structure, except we don't have any gen eds for you. So when you apply, you'll apply to the degree that you're hoping to study. You can change your mind after your first year, but at least there are no gen eds. And by the way, just in case I don't get through all the information, there is a QR code at the bottom of the screen. So if you hear something that kind of catches your fancy or you like, feel free to scan the QR code and pop in your details that way. So for anybody who's not been fortunate enough to come to Scotland before, Scotland's voted one of the most beautiful countries in the world by Rough Guides. There's plenty of outdoor activities as well as city activities for you to do. I think everybody is familiar with Edinburgh being the capital, but Glasgow is actually the largest city in the country, and the two cities have a soft rivalry between each other, but they're only an hour away on the train. The trains run every 15 minutes between Edinburgh and Glasgow, and it only costs about £7 round trip to go back and forth. If you're ever invited on a hill walk, please be prepared that you will be climbing up a mountain, but this is Loch Katrine, which is the closest loch to campus. And this is Ben Am, so the tallest mountain peak at Loch Katrine. So if you're ever invited for a hill walk, just be prepared. So bird's eye view of campus. The main building is a castle. It looks like Hogwarts. There's no way to ignore the comparison. And most of the buildings that you see in this image are Glasgow owned. So we have a couple of the academic departments. So just down at the bottom is the engineering building. Over to the left-hand side of the screen is geography and earth sciences. If you follow University Avenue down to the curve, you see the medical campus and this kind of green curved building. But the main building is going to be the main component that's featured in the Glasgow skyline. It's quite famous for Glasgow. So there will be classes in there. It's both administrative and educational. So you'll spend plenty of time in the main building. We've just across the street, we've got a 13-story library that currently houses Shakespeare's manuscripts, original manuscripts, which is a really special resource for any lit students that we might have. And then just across the street, we've got the Fraser building, which acts like a student union. So that's a place where you can talk to the study abroad team. There's the campus bookstore. There's a doctor on campus. It's also a place where you can grab a sandwich or a coffee on your way to class. So all in all, to walk from one end of campus to the other end, it's about a 15-minute walk. So pretty navigable, I'd say. The university is not in city center. We are over in the west end of the city, which is a little bit of a quieter portion of the city, very student driven. It's also known as the foodie quarter of the city. So there's plenty of cheap student takeaways for like burgers, fries, fish and chips, that kind of thing. But there's also plenty of independent, really nice restaurants if you want to impress friends or family that come to visit you. And the great thing about the West End is that it's an older part of the city. So you have this very European romantic feel as you're walking down the cobblestone streets. This one is Ashton Lane. So you see that you're passing like the patisseries, the boulangeries, the independent coffee shops, the bookstores. There are tons of art galleries, and as well as venues. Kelvin Grove Park, which backs up into it's pretty much the university's backyard, turns into a summer music festival. So it's cool to walk through. Very important and like really beautiful places on your way to class. So entry requirements for Glasgow, we're looking for 32 to 38 if you're doing the IB diploma, and entry requirements are going to be very strictly academic. So if you're not doing the IB diploma and doing the US curriculum, we're looking for 3 tests that are at AP level. We need at least a 4, and then you can substitute one of those AP tests with either the SAT or the ACT at the minimum level. And then if your access to testing has been restricted because of COVID, we will allow test optional applications to come in. We're looking for a 3.5 GPA and to see that you've taken honors, AP, or dual enrollment credits in relevant subject tests to the degree that you're applying to. As far as subject areas, a little bit of everything. We have over 500 degree combinations. All are ranked within the top 20 in the UK, except for philosophy. Philosophy hasn't quite made it to the top 20 yet, but the only thing that we don't offer is fine arts. So if you're looking for painting, drawing, sculpting, we wouldn't be the best fit for you. And then as far as cost is concerned, if you're looking at in-state tuition, typically in-state tuition can give us a run for our money. However, if you're looking at out-of-state tuition, we tend to be a fraction of the cost. All right, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm based in Washington, DC, so happy to answer any questions later. All right, see you guys, thanks.
Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from the University of Melbourne.
Okay, good day, everyone. This is Todd St. Vrain from the University of Melbourne. So we are going to take a brief pause from Europe and head down under. So welcome to UniMelb, or as we say in the local Aboriginal language, Wamanjaika. University of Melbourne is a large public research intensive university located in the southern part of Australia. So this is, and we have as a comprehensive university, a wide range of subjects that excel at the global level. This is the beautiful Great Barrier Reef, which is about a 4-hour flight north of Melbourne. Imagine taking classes with Madeline Van Appel, who is bioengineering heat-resistant coral in an effort to save the Great Barrier Reef. This is just one example of the kind of academic experience that you're going to have at the University of Melbourne. Vanderbilt University is one of our partner institutions, so you can think of us as an Australian version of Vanderbilt. This is our main campus, which is located in the heart of Melbourne, about 15 minutes from downtown area. And coming to Australia, it's a very multicultural country, and our campus is nearly half international students. We're very large with nearly 25,000 undergraduate students, and that includes a community of several hundred Americans, so that there are some fellow Americans to hang out with if you so wish to. We have great outcomes for our graduates, and all international students in Australia have the ability to stay and work for 2 years after graduation, giving you options as to where you could begin your career. Our degrees are just 3 years, which is standard in Australia, which is a savings in itself. But at the current exchange rate, your annual tuition is going to be just under $30,000. And we estimate probably another $20,000 in US dollars in living expenses. And you can use US educational loans at the University of Melbourne. Admissions in Australia is based only on academic achievement, and I'll get into very shortly what this would look like for you. And you're doing all of this in Melbourne, a city of 4 million people, 4 seasons, sometimes 4 seasons in a day. It's regarded as Australia's sports, cultural, and technology capital. So we have streamlined the degrees into 8 options, and within that, there are over 150 majors. That might include a Bachelor of Agriculture. We call the liberal arts and humanities arts, and I've put into bold some more popular majors, entire degree in biomedicine. We call business commerce, there's design, fine arts, music, and a plethora in the sciences, including engineering and IT. So you have to learn how to speak Australian English. We call degrees courses. So if you head to our Find a Course page, this will be a chance for you to explore to see your options, because your interest might be in more than one major or more than one degree. Now, our curriculum, we have what's called breadth subjects, which is kind of our version of Gen Ed. It's still within the context of 3 years, lots of flexibility. If you want to extend to 4th year, we have something called concurrent diplomas, or you could do an optional year of independent research for honors. So for entry requirements, coming from high school, that will be a minimum SAT or ACT score, an unweighted minimum GPA, and we do have AP exams to meet prerequisites. And as you can see, this varies slightly per degree. We are not test optional, but we are test alternative. So if you can't sit the SAT or ACT, we have the Australian STAT test you can do online, or an aggregate of AP exams. And if you're not presenting an AP exam, you'd have to present like a syllabus of a dual credit course. We also take entry merit based on the International Baccalaureate. Any transfer students who are joining us tonight, it's really straightforward. It's just a 3.0 and a few prerequisites and a few degrees. So it's different down under. The seasons are opposite, and so are the semesters. So semester 1 started in March. Semester 2 starts in late July. You can actually start in either semester because we offer the core classes in either semester. For anyone looking to start later this year, that would be online because the Australian borders do remain closed during the pandemic, but we are hopeful that things will be reopening in time for our semester 1 in March of next year. Our admission deadlines are a bit different, so my advice is just to apply when you're applying to US institutions, because we offer enrolling admissions and can base an offer on at least part of some of those entry requirements. And if you'd like to defer to the next semester to give yourself a little bit of a mini gap year, deferrals tend to be a quite automatic process in Australia. So we guarantee accommodation. Just to confuse you, we call the dormitories colleges. There's also student apartments. And in Australia, everyone always gets their own room. Of course, uni life is more than academics. There's clubs and societies and lots of sports to participate in. And just we'll end with a brief campus tour. So Australia is about the size of the United Continental US. We're down in the southern part. And again, our main campus is a mixture of beautiful historic sandstone buildings, lovely open spaces, but also some really modern facilities as well, lecture halls and labs. Have to stop off at the car park. Of course, we do things like film Mad Max movies in there. So Melbourne's a great city, again, of sports and culture. And if you'd like to get in contact, just reach out to me. I'm based in San Francisco. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Lastly, you'll be hearing from the University of Manchester.
Great. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. Hi everyone, my name is Anuli. I'm an international officer. I'm representing the University of Manchester, which is Britain's largest single site university. And we were established in 1824. So we have a proud history of innovation and world's first, some of which you can see listed here. So in 1917, we have our Nobel Prize winner, Ernest Rutherford, who split the atom. In 1948, Kilburn and Williams, they built the world's first stored program computer. And then in 57, Lovell built the world's largest steerable radio telescope at Jodrell Bank. So Manchester is part of the UK's Russell Group, which identifies 24 world-class research-intensive universities. Some students understand this to be the UK's version of the US Ivy Leagues. It's not exactly the same, but that's the best comparison. So we have a unique vision, and we're proud to boast 25 Nobel laureates amongst our staff and students, and we have 2 currently with us on campus, one in the physics department and one in the math department. And we're a top UK university for 2 years running for social and environmental impact. So taking a look at some of our rankings, we are ranked 27th in the world, according to QS World Rankings, 6th in Europe, 6th in the UK, sorry, 8th in Europe, and not to mention some of our programs, our individual programs are highly ranked. 83% of research is judged to be world leading or internationally excellent. And we're the first choice for graduate employers in the UK. So this is really important when you're thinking about outcomes and potential opportunities for work. We have several students from our engineering school that graduated and are working on Formula One cars in Monte Carlo, which I think is a very cool story to tell. And then we have regular recruiters that come to campus and we have great relationships with. These are global companies. Of course, you know most of them: Jaguar, Apple, IBM, BBC. We have AstraZeneca, which is always in the news cycle right now because of COVID-19. PwC, which is an accounting and tax company, KPMG. So many companies like that. So under our 3 faculties, we have the Faculty of Science and Engineering, Faculty of Biology, Medicine, and Health, and our Faculty of Humanities. So here are some popular courses. We have popular degrees which are studied at the undergraduate level. This includes law and medicine, sociology and criminology, physics and math, computer science and AI, which of course is really popular these days, politics and international relations, and creative writing. So the humanities is really well represented, and it's really popular amongst our North American candidates. So your Manchester experience, there are 40,000 students at Manchester, and they represent over 160 nationalities. Over 10,000 of our students are international students. So that makes us one of the most international and diverse universities in the UK. The university and the city are one of the most affordable locations for students seeking a degree in the UK. When you're thinking about the living cost of being in Manchester and tuition at the University of Manchester together, it's about 40,000 to 48,000 dollars. So that does not include the School of Medicine because that works a bit differently, but it is quite affordable to study in the UK. So again, when it comes to your career, we do offer amazing options for you at university. And I just mentioned some of the relationships we have with employers. But most of our degrees give you the option to integrate a year abroad. So we call this the year in industry. You might hear it referred to as a sandwich year. It's a graduate level internship that's relevant to your degree. So for example, if you are studying marketing, your sandwich year would be a job working in the marketing field. So it'd be 1 year and you'd be working full time and getting paid obviously because you're working. And that would be your experience or the study abroad year. That will take your 3-year course to a 4-year course because you have added the sandwich year to do 1 year in industry. You'll also have opportunities for summer internships, volunteering, outreach programs. There's opportunities for part-time jobs if you're interested while at university. Either way, Manchester's there to support your journey. So there's multiple resources spanning many departments at Manchester. Our career services is probably one of the big ones you'll use in terms of building your career. They offer one-to-one appointments, and they are there to assist you with internships, job opportunities, connecting you with alumni, helping you write your CV, doing mock interviews with you if you need to. They're there to support your journey while you're there and then after you graduate. A little bit about our campus. Of course, you can't visit right now, but we are located in the second largest city in the UK, and Manchester City has some of its own firsts. It's the birthplace of vegetarianism, feminism, and the Industrial Revolution. The university has over 400 clubs and societies ranging from debate, there's swimming, there's all kinds of sports, there's affinity groups. There's usually something for everyone. You don't have to participate, but if you'd like to participate, there's plenty of clubs, societies, and sports that you can participate in your free time. We have the accommodation guarantee for international students. So the best news there is you will be given a single occupancy room. So it's just you don't have to share. You might be sharing the shared space such as a kitchen because you'll be deciding if you want the catered or self-catered option. And lastly, we have over 500,000 alumni in 190 countries doing amazing work, and we are looking forward to new students joining that community. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me here by email and we can set up a one-to-one Zoom if you're interested in that. Or you could visit our website where we have UniBuddy and it pops up on the bottom right corner of our webpage and you could connect with students who are studying currently at university. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to invite all of our reps to come back on and do a round of Q&A, just answering what advice you would give someone going through the college search process in the same order that you presented in.
Yeah, so I think for anyone that's going through this process right now on this call, it's really important to use all of us that are here on this panel as a resource. We are looking for ways to get you into school, not for ways to get you, to reject you from school. And given you've sort of been given this unprecedented time to be able to interact with all of us virtually, and I think it's really important to take advantage of that. And we are all definitely here to help you through the process.
Hi, and we know that especially with universities that are overseas, it might be unlikely that you can set foot on campus and do the traditional tour the way you might want to. But most of us, I suspect, are offering online experiences that give you many of the same benefits. So please look on your school's websites, see, do they have online info sessions, online virtual campus tours, and things like that can be really useful at this stage.
Yeah, I just want to say definitely keep an open mind during this college search process. I think it's really easy to just look at the colleges that your friends are looking at or that your parents went to, but you never know what your dream college is going to be. So definitely to kind of echo Lindsay and Will, reach out to us, watch virtual tours. You know, you never know what you're going to love until you actually do the research.
Yeah, and sometimes I think maybe making the commitment to do a full degree abroad is a bit of a big step. So if you're considering other US options, if you decide to end up staying in the country, please look at their study abroad partners. Go abroad at some point in your undergrad career. It's the best chance you're not kind of weighed down by life. Life just kind of happens once you graduate college. So this is kind of like your carefree chance to go anywhere in the world. So please look at international like study abroad partners if you decide to stay in the US.
Hi, everyone. I would say that, I remember some 35 years ago being really overwhelmed as a high school student with all my choices, and, international wasn't even on the radar. So first, you're going to sort it out. It's going to be okay. Yeah, definitely take advantage of new resources, taking a virtual tour. We all put on events or have means for you to connect with current students. It's one thing to hear from us, but also to connect with your peers is really important.
And I would just say, just like everyone else is connecting with us, doing your research and being careful about the research that you find online. There's a lot of misinformation on there. And I would say the website, each individual school website is the best place to get the most up-to-date information, because a lot of these secondary sites sometimes have the incorrect information, or they just haven't updated the most recent information. So just reach out to us for the most up-to-date information.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for sharing, and thank you everyone for joining us. When you go to close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for more. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other sessions recordings at strivescan.com/Tennessee. So thank you, everyone. Bye now.